Welcome to the Take It Home podcast so bad we really should just take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at Doc717. We got a full fucking house tonight. I'm gonna give the hot tag to my partner. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Zach Hendricks. Find me on all social media at Z Hendricks Brand. And of course, look up your mama's favorite tag team at Country Air Official on Facebook and Instagram, or Country Air Brand on Twitter. And I don't really know who I'm supposed to pass it off to because there's only usually three of us. You know what, though? I'm gonna pass it off to a guy who's been making his third appearance 3 times in a row, looking like he might be a regular.
I'm back. Three-peat. C3. That reference you're old. Doc.
Hey, I'll shoot it to you later. But somebody, if you remember the I am tired like old YouTube video. And Australia's over here like WTF, mate. And then we go to France, they're like, I am tired, but fire the missiles. But that came up today, and I was like,
Nice.
early 2000s.
Well, on top of that, it's Baxter Belafonte back for your third week in a row. That was four. Third week in a row. You can find me, Baxter Belafonte, and at Baxter Wrestles. And on that note, he's been around the world and he's back again. I'm gonna hand it off to the next gentleman.
Oh my God.
Well, guys, that was as good as it gets right there, baby. Referee Perch. You can find me at Perch XLV, # for the ref brand, and Waffles Take It Home podcast.
Waffle. Man, maybe Baxter should have been the announcer at Green County Fair if he was gonna come like that.
We'll get into that. Battleborn Perch on the mic.
Okay. All right. Before we get into the stories that I'm sure Perch has many of because he's been gone forever. How was the food hunts? Let's start with Perch. You've been, like you said, around the world and back again. What you been eating, brother?
Greatest food. I could break it down by the food. Started out the trip in Philadelphia and got a good Philly cheesesteak from a place called Angelo's. Top dog. Best bread ever. And best cheesesteak I've ever had in my life. Next up, hit up a bagel joint in New York, and it was pretty good. I don't remember what it was called, but they do make bagels different, and they are phenomenal. Much thicker and good crisp to them. And then over in Tokyo, the best steak in the world, Mr. Danger's steak, Billy the Kid's steak. Pepper Lunch is an amazing place for the best steak, and it's all just the best taste you've ever had in your life. Amazing food. And then hit it back in Chicago for some pizza. Bacci, Bacci. Always a good joint for some late night pizza. And then Wisconsin cheese curds at the Monroe, Wisconsin Green County Fair. Best cheese curds ever, dude. We asked a security guard, and she literally everything short of picked us up by the collar and dragged us out, point to us right where the best cheese curd stand was. She was so dead serious.
Dude,
she was waiting hours.
You came to the right one, children.
She got physical with you.
She damn near got physical to show us. But yeah, she was not lying. Best cheese curds I've ever had in my life. And it's always a good search for the best curds on the Summer Sizzler tour. So yeah, amazing food.
Very nice. Bax, any good food?
Oh man, and I'm gonna piggyback off of that. I was with Perch in Monroe, Wisconsin, at the Green County Fair. I always, every time I go to a fair, I seek the corn on the cob, and it delivered, my man. Oh my goodness! And this is also new to me. I am in on mayo on corn on the cob.
You're elote, like elote.
Elote. Yeah, but this time it was on the cob, and they had a mayo not a bucket, a bottle, and I put the mayo on it, spread it around, and put the chili powder on it. Woo! So good.
Yeah, that stuff is good. I do not like mayo, but I will deal with a little bit. If it's in elote, throw some chili powder, throw some more cheese on there.
Yeah,
I'll deal with it.
yeah. And I cannot not mention that they did feed us at the Greene County Fair. We had a satchel of ham and cheese sandwiches and a thing of the Lay's multi-pack with the Doritos and all that. So
Oh,
so they did feed us. It was
uh,
just a little untraditional, but it was good.
yep. All
They were
right.
good. Good sandwiches, lots of them, and ice water too. Good chip
Yeah,
selection.
and the water and the Gatorade.
Nice spread. Nice spread.
All right. Hey,
Yep.
that's better than a lot of places.
Yeah.
It's still better than a lot of places. Zach, any interesting food hunts?
Uh, just went to Texas Roadhouse yesterday after a movie. Nice early. I think definitely earlier the better. You get better service, but yeah, super good. Got a steak. Jack got a burger, and Val got a pulled pork sandwich.
All right. Speaking of steakhouses, I went to Longhorn Steakhouse before this. I prefer Longhorn to Texas Roadhouse. Disappointed, underwhelming experience at Texas Roadhouse. But I had Longhorn earlier tonight. That was freaking delicious. Had a little T-bone, some stuffed mushrooms, sweet potato was very good. Breakfast over the weekend, I had chicken and waffles from not the original Pancake Cafe, just the Pancake Cafe, just a completely separate restaurant than the place I've been going to the past 2 weeks. Very good. My only problem is they don't have a good balance of chicken to waffle ratio. Too much.
Mm.
I mean, I'm fine with more chicken, but give me another waffle then as well. It's much more chicken than waffles, so a little disappointing in that sense, but still very good, very good. So food was delicious.
I'm
Oh,
under um I'm under rumor that you guys also hit up Cane's on Friday.
I believe Zach hit up Cane's. I did not.
Oh yeah. Saturday. It was Saturday. We went to that barbecue
Oh,
spot
Saturday.
was
Okay.
good in the
Oh yeah, we
daytime.
did hit that barbecue spot. It was
Yeah,
delicious. Yeah, had some wings.
we had TAU with us. Wam Ming's never had canes, and that dude got a whole chicken dipped in barbecue and then some raisin canes later.
Yeah. Man was living well. Like my type of dude out on the road, eat good. That's like enjoy yourself while you're out here on the road. The driving sucks. So find some other things just besides wrestling to enjoy. Eat.
And I wasn't like we weren't going to stop for games. Like I was kind of like I was full from lunch still, like from the Italian beef I got at that barbecue spot. And I looked at TAU and I was like, "You guys still want some Raising Canes?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And I was like, "All right, brother, I go rob you of this experience."
Yeah. Nah, so
Yeah, I rode in the car with him for the Sunday show, and he was telling me that was his first time, and I've never been there either. But he was telling me y'all went out and had the barbecue and the Raising Cane's.
yeah. Yeah, no. He
Super good. You
hopped in
ever
the
go
car with us to
out
get
to
some
Gurney?
food.
What's that?
I said, you ever go check out that outlet mall in Gurney? It's like a 45-minute drive from like where we're like our vicinity.
I haven't. I drive past it all the time, but I haven't been there. No.
If you ever drive past it, there's a Raising Cane's. That's probably the closest one to us. But if you ever need to pop your
Oh,
cherry, that's a close one to us. Like right next to the Gurney
Yeah,
Mills
that's
Mall.
further than 45 minutes from him.
all right. I'll meet you guys there in 45.
Yeah.
Got you.
From where
Yeah, I want it. I want it.
Oh, you know what else I want? Because I've kind of forgot about it. That banger of the week from Perch.
Banger of the week this week.
Yeah.
This one hits. Music's been hitting really good over the past week, but nothing better than one of my original favorites of all time. I think it was the first CD I ever understood how to open a case, pull a CD out, open a CD player, the stereo system, and play it.
Well, there also was
None
a
other.
time when CD cases were very hard to open for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they
So
did.
don't feel
Sometimes they didn't.
that.
Sometimes they shattered. Then you
Yeah.
learned about the little pieces that broke off of there. But yeah, this was my original CD. Welcome to Paradise, Green Day. We're rocking it at different parts through the journey. It was a damn good tune. Was talking music with Mao at one point. One of his favorite songs too, that he learned how to play on bass. So yeah, just a banger of a tune. Rock that song many a time.
Oh
And
yeah,
it
okay,
hits.
yeah, yeah, I remember this.
It hits.
Oh yeah, you had to bring it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, I had to throw it on because I discovered like a lot of these songs, Perch names, I just never knew what the name of them was. Like, I'm pretty sure this was on one of the Tony Hawk Pro Skaters.
This was
Oh,
original Perch CD right here. Amazing, amazing CD.
No, yeah, no. Anything from that era, anything. I'm a big fan of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater OSTs and the Madden OSTs from about that time, and SmackDown vs. Raw from a little later. If you're on
Great
that, your
era.
money.
Great era.
uh, real quick, what was your first CD you bought, Doc and Zach?
Ooh. First CD, I believe, was DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood,
Oh,
I believe. The
oh,
second album.
okay. So Zach's a little younger, but what's it gonna be?
Mine's not so thuggin'.
Neither is mine.
Mine might have been the Hansons.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
I
fine.
was a big bop kid.
Hey, no, like I think that was the first album actually the homie that lived across the street from me bought was actually that album. So don't feel bad.
They're like
That ex-
very music illiterate, but I do remember like Bop came on. I think it was on the Eggo commercial, and I was a big fan of it. And yeah, I didn't know the words, but I was like, I just mumbled it. I thought it was cool.
All right, here we go. To throw even more mystery into my age, the first cassette I bought was
oh,
Bone Thugs and Harmony East 1999.
ooh, yes,
That was the first cassette I bought.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was just old thugger even back then.
Yeah. So Zach,
I was gonna say,
Now
yeah,
we know.
are any of the other two old enough to have bought a cassette?
The
Well, I
Offspring
wanted to.
Smash cassette was my first one ever.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
that was one of my favorites. I got it for my mom for her birthday, and it was like go to the store and pick up a cassette, and yeah, Smash. Still have the cassette. Played it in
oh,
the truck on the Summer Sizzler tour at the time we flipped the trailer. It was in playing at the time. Was
Oh.
able to retrieve it safe and sound. Still have it.
That's a family heirloom at this point.
Yeah, that was the first one I ever
You
bought.
gotta pass it down the generations. Like, look, children, you need to understand this survived a truck flipping. All right.
Talk about bangers. That CD is a banger that survives.
Awesome. What about you, Max? First cassette.
so the first cassette I remember having, and the reason I bought it is because between second and fourth grade, I had a killer mullet because of this man, Billy Ray Cyrus. He had
Oh,
I don't know what the album was called, but he had a hot jean jacket on the cover, the
I
hair flowing real smooth.
was the lettering like pink, I think, or it wasn't it like
Pink or red. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
remember
just
this one.
yeah, that was what I bought. And then when CDs came around, I was probably, a badass in sixth grade. I got TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool.
Oh, that was a good
Oh,
CD though. That was a very good one.
and I got to say the word sexy. Oh, I was so cool.
Like that would have came out at a great time for us. No scrubs and no pigeons. But no pigeons came
Oh my
out.
god,
The answer, glorious.
so good.
Like
Oh,
all right, enough just kind of putting our ages out there.
yeah,
To
true.
know that Crazy Sexy Cool came out at the perfect time for us. Why don't we talk about maybe some current wrestling we watched, maybe some old wrestling we watched. Zach, have you watched anything interesting?
I mean, I've been watching some old school WrestleManias, not WrestleManias, SummerSlams, like the classic HBK Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, that one. Just been watching kind of like, SummerSlam's right around the corner
That
and just
happened?
getting
I didn't know that ever
Shawn
happened.
Michaels, Shawn
HBK and
Michaels
Hulk
versus
Hogan. No. I never knew that happened.
That's the famous Shawn Michaels Supercell.
Oh, the later one. I for some reason I'm thinking when he's younger. Yes,
Oh no,
yes.
it's an
No, yeah, the
HBK.
oversell, the oversell SummerSlam. Yes,
Yeah, 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 yeah. You
For
know,
some reason, I was thinking like I immediately went to wait. Hulk Hogan wrestled a young Shawn Michaels. I figured there's no way Hogan would have done that.
nope, nope, nope.
Okay. Yes,
Just
yes.
prepping
Later
for
Shawn. Yes,
SummerSlam. Later, Sean.
yes.
Prepping for SummerSlam. Other than that, not much. I mean, I did go see the Barbie movie yesterday.
Which I've heard is very good.
It was pretty funny.
I've heard it's pretty
Very,
good.
very funny. There's like some good parts. I feel like if you're a mom, I feel like if you're a mom like our age or like something like that, like you can relate to a lot of it. Like Val related to a lot of like the speeches. It's not like really intended for kids, but really funny. It's funny showing how Ken found out what patriarchy was, and he just thought it was the greatest thing ever. He was like, no, no, no. Like, it's great that men rule.
Like, what is this?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely one of those like if you're a you would enjoy it as a yeah, you don't have to be like a Barbies fan to enjoy it.
Okay. All right. Bax, watch anything interesting in the last week?
You know me, I'd be scrolling on that TikTok with the old ones. I
The
finished the
TikTokers?
Owen Hart. Man, I finished the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring. Like I said, I've seen it before, but it was cool to watch and like again, sad. Um but then I watched after that I watched the Ultimate Warrior one, which I have seen before but kind of forgot about. And um I'll just be really nice. After watching that, I am not an Ultimate Warrior guy. Like he just didn't really respect the business and kind of made it about him and like just not for me. I like cool that he would had his thing, but like just not for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He
That
wasn't.
seems to be the general consensus for people after they watch it.
Yeah, like I don't remember. Like I remember watching it as a kid, but like now in the business, he wasn't a great worker. He really didn't like you know. Um, Again, respect what we do. So I guess it just kind of irked me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think it's definitely one of the things like, yeah, I like all the little warriors. I was one of them. Um,
Yeah,
it was made for us, but I think as I've gotten older and have just watched, I mean, even like before that, just watching more wrestling, you start to
yeah,
notice things, and you're just like, I don't think this guy's super nice.
yeah. But I don't hate him. I mean, rest in peace, of course. But like, it just eye opening.
Yeah, like that series can be, unfortunately.
Yeah, so true.
Perch, have you watched anything interesting in your 3 week hiatus?
Yeah, I watched a lot of replay back of shows that we were on, so I could tell you the ins and outs of each card. Uh, but also caught a couple of big time matchups that was really looking forward to. One of them being Blood and Guts on AEW, two
Yep.
cages, two rings, all hell breaking loose. Phenomenal to see all the teams coming together. Kota Ibushi teaming up with Kenny Omega. Um, it's like you could feel the energy. It was amazing. Takeshita being in there, teaming with John Moxley, and the
Moxley
whole
just coming in
team's
with the screwdriver, not playing around.
oh, and the fork, just when he
Yeah.
tosses the fork to Cesaro to Claudio to start doing it on his own. Phenomenal. Loved that match up and down. Didn't matter who won or lost. Eventually it came to an end. And it was incredible. At one point, Moxley takes like the boot to the face and falls back right onto the bed of nails. And
Yeah.
Ibushi knowing what he's got to do, and everyone knowing it too, hits that backflip right on him, and then ooh, and it hurts him just the same.
Yeah.
That was such an emotional moment. I don't even know why, but it was. When pro wrestling gets you.
Yeah. Even like Like, as workers, we understand the physics of how that works, and it doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, and just seeing that was just incredible. And maybe because he was right next to Kenny Omega too at the end, so it's like he was defending his friend and the whole build up and the story and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, energy, you can really feel it. And that was a moment in the match where it's like, whoa, that's pro wrestling at its finest. They created this whole environment and atmosphere. You don't get that kind of a moment without that. It was very cool, fun storytelling. And then another match, there was a big DDT show just the other day, and Takeshita took on Yuki Ueno, and that's a matchup. They faced each other maybe 6 times before. Once in LA, which I got to referee for, which was incredible. These two bring it at a high level, and Takeshita is putting on so much more muscle since like the beginning of these guys' friendship rivalry. So to see the matchup that they had over in Japan the other day, very good. Uh, Takeshita taking more of a bad guy approach. Call him bad, good. He's got his own motives, and he damn well believes in it. I'd say one of the best little rivalries going on right now, and the finish of it was unbelievable. Yeah, great match. The Wrestle Universe is definitely worth checking out. Um, and yeah, that's probably my favorite rivalry going on right now in pro wrestling. Those two bring it. Um, and yeah, it was a good one. So a few matches that really stood out from the week. That was kind of jumbled, but really loved it.
Kind of the same. Yeah, watched a few things. It is all kind of jumbled, but do want to give a shout out to that eliminator tag match. Adam Cole MJF versus Daniel Garcia and Sammy G. Very entertaining, very entertaining. Um, Finally got the payoff for the double clothesline. They hit the double clothesline. It was the finish as appropriate. The dance battle to start off was amazing. Um, MJF, he's a good heat guy. He in both on both sides of it. Good at gaining heat, good at taking heat. It was just very fun match. And of course it had to be because it was the match before Blood and Guts, which was very serious wrestling shenanigans, but was very good. Finally finished. Best of the Super Juniors. Took forever, but I finally finished it. Freaking couple standout matches in going to the finish in the last couple days. Desperado and Robbie Eagles, two guys whose finish are leg submissions. Wonderful chemistry, psychology. And I did not realize with how different their submissions are that they would flow so well into each other with counter after counter. They both sold the shit out of their leg. It was just very good, just like body part storytelling of them. Who's going to be able to lock it in like first. So very good storytelling with that. Mike Bailey versus Teton. Love me some Teton in LIJ, and Mike Bailey is arguably the best wrestler in the world right now, just as far as consistency. Tore it up, during the Best of Super Juniors, had the 1 seed for his block. Teton the 2. I think Teton is getting that homegrown feel of just having the fans with him over time. And Mike Bailey stole their hearts during the tournament, or I shouldn't even say like stole their hearts, because it's probably for them more of a, oh, he's back, since he wasn't in America for those like 7 years. He was always over there, so for more, I guess it was more of a welcome back for him. But those two, just tore it up with the athleticism. That's another guy, is another good storytelling. Bailey with kicks. Teton also has a leg submission. So the story they told there with weakening the legs was awesome. Looks like he had a killer. Bailey had a killer match with Akira over the weekend. I saw some clips from that. Gonna have to go back and watch that. Yeah, it looks like they freaking tore the house down. And then the finals was also very good. Wato versus Teton for the finals. Very good. It came with the John Cena finish. Oh, you kicked out on my finisher. Well, why don't I just hit it 2 times in a row? And it was hype as shit. It was still hype as shit. Works every time. But yeah, no, very good falsies in that. Finisher fest. Callbacks to things throughout the tournament. It's one of those things where I always think, people complain that maybe New Japan has too many tournaments, but then when you tell good stories through those tournaments, that can feed into the finals, I think it's really good. Yeah, they hit everything that they had won with at some point during the tournament and used that as a falsie. So very believable. And it just also just the inventiveness of the tournament to have so many different believable finishes leading up to the finals to then use those in that sense was awesome. So really enjoyed it. Good into the tournament. Now time to catch up on the G1. It's already 6 days in, so this will probably take me another couple months to finish. But it was awesome. It was a very good tournament. Very good tournament. Really enjoyed it. There's lots of good storytelling in it all the way through. So Best of Super Junior is always a fun one to watch every year. But you know what's a fun thing to do every year that it seems we've done every year? That Greene County Fair. Baxter, why don't you tell us what you did this weekend?
Oh, nice segue. That was really nice.
Thank you. Sometimes I get it. I'm not the freestylist that you are, but yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah, so the Greene County Fair is in Monroe, Wisconsin. It's just kind of on the border of Wisconsin and Illinois. Brew City Wrestling is there pretty much every year, and I was gone the last couple years, but was back this year. We had a really fun show, a lot of good people, both like between trainees and veterans and guys like us who have been in for a little bit, just good class of people, and we had a really fun time. So I'll put a couple people over. Perch himself at Perch XLV was on the stick and did a fantastic job as the ring announcer. Just pure energy. Wasn't necessarily a wrestling crowd, so sometimes they need a little bit of little help getting hyped up. So Perch delivered. I'll promise you that. And then the other guy I'll put over is CJ Cole. I wrestled him. I've only wrestled him one other time in a triple threat, like a year ago. But then I finally got to wrestle him yesterday in a singles match in the opener match, and you just know when it's good when you're putting the match together, when you're in the middle of the match and you're kind of just flowing and you're talking and like things just feel right. Of course, it wasn't perfect. Of course not. I mean, I've watched it just before coming on air here. We had our faults, of course, but like everything that I messed up, we covered, and
we/he covered.
Yeah, correct. All right, calm down. But it just was a really great partnership in that we had the same idea in what we wanted to accomplish in the match.
And yeah, even when you mess up, it's good that you guys are on the same page and
Yep.
you can get back. Like that chemistry matters, because we've been in matches where we both recognize that we've messed up, but we're not on the same page, and now we can't get out of this mistake.
And it looks so wonky, right?
Yeah.
People would call that a botch or whatever, but no, it was the things I did forget, admittedly, like he covered, and like we moved on, and we accomplished, like I said, everything we wanted to. So super fun match, super grateful. He went over like an asshole, but luckily it wasn't a title match. So I'm still your reigning, sometimes defending Elks Lodge champion.
That's all that matters.
Reigning.
Longest reigning.
Longest reigning. And only.
The history of the Elks Lodge Championship starts and ends with Baxter Belafonte.
There's only one name. Only ever going to be one.
But awesome. Very good.
Yeah, very fun.
So, Zach, let's get into ours, because I'm sure Perch has lots of stories. So let's knock our one out of the way.
Yes, sir. Saturday, Doc and I got to get an opportunity we've been working a little bit hard for. We were able to debut for Black Label Pro on their Unplugged series. It's a show where it's to showcase new talent that they're thinking about bringing in as regulars to see how they would do with the crowd. And we found ourselves in a little 6-man.
Yes, it
Uh,
was Country Air and the Alphasaurus, Ezio Orlandi versus Dex Royal and Damon and Damian Reel, the highlight reel.
yes, sir.
Also, I
Just
blame their mother for putting their names way too close in spelling. Like, they're already twins. Why would you do that? Just make it that much harder.
yeah. And then yeah, I mean we actually had a legendary ref who got a big ovation when he came out to the ring right before ours.
Yeah,
Literally
we
right
were behind the 8 ball of this match. You had to follow Kevin Koo and TJ Crawford to a that ended with a "please come back" chant. And then it's like, all right, I'm in the back.
Right.
It's like, okay, all we got to do is get a both these teams chant, right? If we end with a both, that's what we're hoping for. Both these teams. Nope. Perch has to step out before us. It's like, oh my god, this crowd is exhausted already. How are we going to get them back?
But I would like to say we did pretty well, you know. Alphasaurus did not want to be a team player. It was 2 tag teams, obviously 6 men, just trying to make an
Well,
impact. And
actually, it was a tag team and a trios team. They had the trios gear. They are used to being a trios team. So that was actually, in a rare instance, legitimately putting us, at a disadvantage.
little disadvantage. We were familiar with Ezio, but Enzio did not want anything to do with us.
Not at
Did
all.
not want to tag. Thought he
Like
was
the
controlling.
just hard tag, hard chops to the back.
Yeah, I don't know how many I got to my back. Like I hate chops to the back, and when you're just tagging me, slapping my back like 15 times.
Yeah.
There's one tag that wasn't even necessary.
Yeah. Just
One of
chopping
my
um,
you in the
favorite.
back.
no, but hard hitting. Got to see a beautiful drop kick, moonsault, some Germans, a lot of
Yeah,
suicide dives,
very,
but
very beautiful German
unfortunately,
watching it back because I missed it during the match.
we did not get the W. We were lined up for Air Buddies, thinking we got the win. No,
No,
no, no, no.
because Ezio's all in his feelings and had to push me off the top rope and cost us the win.
I mean, their trios finisher is pretty cool though.
Yeah, the trios
This
finisher is dope. So give them up, give it up to those guys. Yeah, it's very interesting. As we are a 2 guys dedicated to tag team wrestling, it's very interesting running into a group that seems like they're dedicated to trios wrestling. So just different dynamic, slightly different logic in their minds and handling things. So it was a very good experience, just to learn some stuff. And we were lucky enough that Dex had been at the Bailey seminar, which from conversation with him looks like he's been trying to put into all of his matches. And us in the Miu seminar been trying to fit all that in our matches. So it was dope fit, very. But yes, hopefully we will be back. Shout out to Perch for being the ref. Always good to have him there on a debut. Always good to be in there with a good brother who can be trusted. Shout out to Jack and Tick, super fans. Been down with us since day one. Are always super excited to see us. Always hoping that we're going to be at new places that they go to, so that they can keep coming and see us. Super excited to see them at the Insane 8 next month. Midwest's biggest death match tournament of the summer. So yeah, it's a good weekend all around.
Shout out to Top Rope Bakery too. They
Yes.
always treat us super good. She walked up to us and said, "Oh man, I wish I would have known. I would have made you guys a cookie." She said, "I see you guys all the time," but it was like first time I think she got to see us wrestle live. Yeah, just super good, fun experience. Got a lot of good feedback, and even better, our little brothers that we're gonna have to beat up later, and we'll talk about that. TAU got some feedback too, and they got noticed a little bit, and people knew who they were, so that was like just overall great business. And before we get to Perch, I mean, I just want to put over like the whole weekend with like other guys too. I heard Chucky and the Caribbeans tore it down at Comic-Con. We had Yeti Donkey Kong out there, CJ Link,
Yeah, I saw
Armando
those.
Armando Alvarez, due to rain, got to main event Mondo Lucha against Eric Dillinger. So
I didn't know he was
Damn.
the main event, but yeah, I did see him and Dillinger. Yeah, I imagine they tore it up.
he said he was not the main event, but it rained out. The Weird Fest got rained out, so he ended up being
So
main
he ended
event
up
because
being the
his
main
match
event.
got
Hey,
so main event Armando Lucha.
yep. Hey, card subject to change, and sometimes to our benefit. But Perch, welcome back, brother. Tell us some stories.
Yeah, it was a great time. Really fun travel all the way around. Pro wrestling is universal, so it's fun to learn what we know and apply it all over the country and all over the world, different territories. Kicked off the weekend uh, in New York City for a show, GCW Now and Forever. Um, that was a fun time. A second time ever at the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York. Very cool place. Every time I'm out in New York, I say a nice "what up" for Doc, because it's a different world out there. And growing up out there is a lot different than growing up in Wisconsin. um, so just to know that we're in the same country, but how different parts of the country really truly are. Um, but it's an amazing place. I love going there and experiencing it. The New York crowd is so cool, intense, different than anything else, even different than a Chicago crowd. Um, my favorite thing is to greet people at the door, working tickets, putting wristbands, um, getting hype before the show. I love to feel what everyone's anticipating and getting ready for. I love to see all the different shirts and stuff that people wear. Um, just like I did at the Elks Lodge day one, watching people at the door, the little things that we learn in pro wrestling that never change because it's for a reason. Um, and this show was incredible. Um, I think it was sold out, so packed. Uh, and the athletic commission's there in New York, so you know it's not going to be too outrageous.
Yep.
Uh, and my first match of the night was Mance Warner against George South. Legend, legend. Mid Atlantic territory. I knew that he had worked with Tommy Young, so I couldn't wait till the opportunity to ask if he had any stories about my favorite referee, Tommy Young. In which afterwards he did. I was so thankful. It's like, yes, you never know, uh, what you're gonna learn from anybody. Again, those lessons we learn at the Elks Lodge.
Yeah, yeah.
You buy a vet a beer and ask him a question. In this case, it was New York City with a Southern wrestler. It was
Yeah.
like,
Asking
Lord
about
knows
Tommy Young.
when George South was in the in New York last. It turns out he's friends with Bruiser too, Beer City Bruiser.
Oh
Since
yeah, yeah. I
moving down,
think they might have had a match recently, or at least we're on a couple shows together.
the people we meet along the way on any given night, pro wrestling once again transcends all cultures.
Yeah.
And that was a fun match. They really told a good story in there. A little pushing and shoving with the referee. One thing led to another. I was seeing red. I called the 1, 2, 3. It was over. Mance ended up winning. George South was a phenomenal, true professional. To see him work that crowd was so fun. Um, those old vets know what to say in like just so many words to like get under a crowd's skin. I've been there for Tommy Young and Doug Gilbert when they did it in the Indiana crowd, and they knew exactly what to say. One of them was, "I dare you to shut up." they just they throw in those little jabs to
Yeah,
stoke the flame even more. Um, this one was, I forgot, George South went on a good one, and it's all good, clean ribbon. You let them
yeah.
know it's a kid crowd, and they'll know how to.
Just know how to be
It's
a jerk.
it's incredible. So that was such a fun, fun atmosphere, kind of like a fair style match. The next match I had of the night was a clinic. That was a make sure you lace up your boots. High intensity, high endurance. Speedball Mike Bailey, as Trey was just talking about, on any given night. Um, we were seeing pictures earlier today from Brian Keith against Speedball Mike from Chicago a few months ago, and they went completely intense. And that was the first time I saw Mike Bailey like go rage mode inside the ring, like step the other line. And then I've seen him against Masha Slamovich, and he had to go to that extra level just as well. But in this match was that version as well, the high intense, seeing red. He had a feud from a match that started maybe a week earlier, Mao against Speedball Mike. And in the middle of it, ref Scarlett took a boot to the face. She went out and took it like a champ. She is a badass. And ref Yoshihiko came in and went for the pin, but Speedball Mike was not about it. And he let Yoshihiko know it and destroyed, just chucked out of the ring and
How
onto
dare
the
you do that
stage.
to a legend?
I think CPR may have been needed. So they were going to square off in New York City this time around. Yoshihiko against Speedball Mike Bailey. Bax, if you haven't seen it or heard of it, it's definitely worth checking out. I've got a Fight TV subscription, and I will give you the let you know what it is,
I'm for
and
it.
it's worth giving a watch. It was such a high intensity match, my God, from the start to finish, 0 to 60, and they went for probably 15 minutes, and storytelling just galore up and down, and that manager in there, you get as good as it gets.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Uh, a Mao Callis,
Oh,
and
Val Callis.
it'll all make sense
It
when
makes
we see.
sense.
And it was just the most incredible match. I didn't know what was happening, and it went on. And I'll tell you, there's 2 matches in my entire wrestling at time where afterwards I was so exhausted I just needed a few minutes. One was 60-minute Broadway between Fred Yehi and Josh Alexander at AAW, where like the body was cramping up, and like afterwards, like ooh, really felt it. And then this match, just the same. It was pushing the body. Very fun match. Great ending to it as well. It made its rounds, and it was funny to hear the next night, saying byes to everybody. And hey, see you, Mike, where are you going next? Oh, Slammiversary next. Like, oh, good. Give her hell tomorrow.
Yeah.
In which he killed it the next day too. But yeah, very, very fun show. The next match I had was Utami against Lufisto in the main event. It was a great honor to be in there for that match. From Canada, Lufisto, Indie Wrestling Hall of Famer, and Utami from Japan, Stardom champ, and very good, top level and up and coming. So to see those two square off, I called right down the middle with a ref from Milwaukee. Knew it was going to be a fair fight, and a great match
International as it
overall.
gets.
Yeah, as international as it gets, and to main event was a great honor. Always very cool. The crowd was intense the whole time, and then after that night, I got ready because we were going to Tokyo, Japan the next day, and GCW and Freedom's Wrestling in Japan put on 3 shows. The third one was the June Kasai Deathmatch Carnival. Very cool, very cool to be a part of. And yeah, I worked a bunch of matches, all of which weren't death matches this time around. Last time, several death matches. This time, I didn't work death matches. Was there helping on the outside, especially when Scarlett was in there too. Talk about badass referee. Scarlett Donovan is awesome. You would never think how badass she really is. But to be in there doing what we do in some of the matches that she had this time around as well, talk about holding your own. She's an inspiration, just like any one of us busting our asses. And incredible to see that hard work. The night one was pretty damn fun. First match I had of the night was a scramble. with Gringo Loco in there. Kikutaro was in there. Vegeta, Jimmy Lloyd, Teriyaki was in there, and Dragon Libre. Awesome match. Good mixture of everybody from all around. Gringo Loco ends up hitting a couple of moonsaults, hits his base bomb. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that place went nuts. To hear a Japanese crowd start some chants, it's so cool. That was the part that really got me was hearing the chants this time around. Last time they couldn't chant
Yeah,
because
I would say.
the restrictions. This time around, they could chant, and to hear them say like this is awesome, the Gringo Loco and the Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy Evan.
No, yeah, no, it was because like I
It
think it
brought a
happened
tear
like
to the
during
eye.
Best of Super Juniors when it changed. So to hear like the crowd change
Yeah.
was dope.
And again, it's pro wrestling. It's those moments that get you, and that really got me hearing some of the chants that they were cheering, and it was wonderful. The next match was a GCW World Championship match. Shigehiro Irie against Blake Christian. And Shiggy being there, an awesome wrestler. Got to work with him in St. Louis against Brian Keith in a banger match at Pops. I think you may have even been there for that one, Doc. And in this time around, Shiggy against Blake was a phenomenal match. Blake Christian comes out victor by the end of it. A lot of good, hard hitting action. All hell breaks loose at the end, and full team warfare setting up for the next night. It was cool. Next night was a 6-man Team GCW against Team Freedoms. Blake Christian, Joey Janela, and Gringo Loco against Sasaki, Huerto, and Segura. And those two being from the Tournament of Survival a couple months ago too. So cool to see them back on their turf. And in a good hard hitting match, ended with a 450 and a moonsault and a dive. Yeah, big time. Awesome finale. Team GC Dub coming up victorious. Definitely big fireworks afterwards. So we were in there to make sure that the line was drawn down the middle, and we had the backs of all of our guys. Ref Barb and Kago were there, as well as Scarlett, myself. So we had some cool refs on hand. Awesome people. Next night was the Jun Kasai produced show, which was sweet. Talk about a legend, and to see him do his thing out there too, incredible. John Wayne Murdoch, Blake Christian, and Gringo Loco teamed up against Mama Sasaki, Takashi Sasaki. So a couple of Sasakis and a Katori, the Rabbit Boy. So in this case, it was John Wayne Murdoch, the Rabbit King, against Katori, the Rabbit Boy. And it was this third night was the lightheartedness after a guy like John Wayne Murdoch went toe to toe with Jun Kasai the night before. And the monster drop dead, drag him out fight. This third night was about the fair show like atmosphere. And they had fun. It was incredible. The chants from the crowd that were started. This is one of those where, just like Bruiser teaching us at the fair shows, going back, listen to that crowd and just go with it and have fun. If it takes a little longer because the crowd's enjoying it, that's exactly what we're there for. and yeah, we gave the Shinkiba first ring crowd an awesome show all 3 nights. And yeah, incredible shows to be a part of. Loved it. And we enjoyed Japan. It was so much fun. Best food ever. It's easy to get around on the train. You can get around just by using your maps on the phone and what trains you need to go to. And there's the best food in the world. Steak and rice every night, everywhere. For so cheap. The conversion rate is you can have steak dinners every night for 10 to $15. Best food you've ever had in your life.
Right.
that good. And if it's an expensive joint, okay, maybe it's a $25 steak dinner. That's like the most expensive.
All right. Yeah, we got the game
Yeah,
on lock. Okay.
it's that good. So if you're going, it's the best food you've ever had. and you don't have to like the sauces. I love all the sauces out there. Out here, no, thank you. Out there, yes,
But
lots
what
of
they're
them,
doing
please.
out there, you about it.
One day we were Mao from the DDT took us out and took us to a grill place. So he was grilling for us. I said, "Oh yeah, where we come from, we go to Brewers games and we bring the grill and we grill out." It was fun to have him grill for us, like the best meat we've ever had. Some of it was pork, some chicken, all steak. 75 minutes you sit there and it's all you can eat. So as good as food gets, you can taste the best food out there. Um, and then made it back to Chicago in time for a BLP doubleheader. This is where I got together with some more homies along the loop and the crew, and we saw DOC and Zach Hendricks and TAU were in the house. Yeah, good homies all around. A lot of freelance students, a lot of people that I've worked with from throughout the country, especially a lot of East Coast guys making their trip over. People who I've worked with recently from all over. It's cool to have a central meeting place like Chicago, where you can kind of introduce some of your wrestling family to other people that you know along the way. Good homies that we're all in it together, and we're all branching out to make the connections. So other people know just who you are and what you're in it for. So days like that are incredible. So it was special to come back uh, home in the first place, and then to come back home to an environment with a bunch of pro wrestling students just like myself, where we're all just like one another, looking to get knowledge, get better, get reps. Yeah, so cool and heartwarming. Uh, First match I had of the night was the highlight reel against Country Air. Um, Very cool, fun match. Like you guys said, good tag action, storytelling within it, and good finish, good ending. Enjoyed it. The next match was Hayden Backlund against Rico Gonzalez. We had the TAU on lockdown, making sure anything on the outside broke loose. They were gonna, handle it. So I looked to them for anything we needed. At one point in this match, Hayden was like hurt bad, so I was gonna call to see if the homies could help him out. So it was like an awkward moment, and it's like this guy needs help, and then I don't know, something happened behind my back, and, and the Hayden guy ended up winning. But
Oh,
it was
that jerk.
talk about a true genuine, like it was so real to me, so I had to pull someone else in, and I knew those homies right there would be there. Like it totally got them just as much as it got me. I knew it was gonna get me, so I knew I had to pry in on something else more genuine than myself too.
You got work, Perch.
Oh, it was great. It was great getting worked, knowing you're going to, and then getting someone else along for it to really make it real. But that's the next level psychology that we have. Anytime we do one of those, I always make sure I talk to the guys after and be like, "Hey, thank you for being there that moment." I would never leave you thinking that,
Yeah.
what was that?
I
But
don't
that's
know.
the true essence of what we do is so genuine and using genuine emotion and knowing people and having people good rapport with other people that allow us to do that flawlessly and seamlessly. It really does. And it adds another level to the authenticity of professional wrestling. Uh, and it was cool to experience that as well as many, many more lessons on that day. Next match I had was Billy Starks against Zaya Brookside, another international dream match. Many a well traveled people. Um, Everyone getting back from a journey from somewhere or another to meet
Yeah,
on this
yeah,
random
that
day at
show.
BLP.
Yeah. We were
And
one
I
of the
think everyone else was
like what
going
is it,
somewhere too
like
randomly.
friggin' Bang Bros and Pick and Pop came from Canada. They were in
Yeah,
Canada the night before.
it's awesome. We're all coming from somewhere, going somewhere, and they're just working hard. One thing leads to another, and we bust our butts every day. That was a fun match. Billy's mean there, so I forgot what happened, but she definitely did some dirty, you know, stuff inside the ring. And then the main event of the night was Cole Radrick, BLP World Heavyweight Champion, against Aramis, who was one of my favorite luchadors. Worked with him many a time throughout the years. We've given each other rides across the country. More so, I've given him a ride, as well as many luchadors, eating meals. Good family. So to have him and Cole in a match was a great way to end that day. And Cole ended up coming out victorious with a clean victory. Great time, fun match all around. And then the next day was the final day of the loop and the Summer Sizzler tour, where it all began. Brew City Wrestling. Ref Dave was on hand, and Ref Jack, his first night in Stripes, refing a show.
How'd he
Big
do? How'd he
congrats.
do? I forgot. I saw his picture in there.
He was legit, absolutely. I made sure to grab a photo of his first match. He was really good. He knows what he's doing and can continue to get better.
It does look
And
like he has been paying attention before he started.
yeah, I think
Absolutely.
he could pan out to be a really good ref, just as well as I'm sure he could pan out to be any role that he tries
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
And that's much like I tried to do, is I want to learn every role and find what works best. And to see him taking the opportunity to ref, more power to you. Work hard, be good at it, be great at it. Learn that as a lesson that you can learn any role in this business and be great at it. And he was, really good for the first day. Absolutely did the trick. Did the trick. And you have to go out there to do it just to know where you land, where your attributes are going to start, and what you can work on.
Yeah, gotta figure out where your starting point is.
Uh-huh. And yeah, that was really cool to see. And I got to ring announce, much like any role. I'll be there to help set up, tear down, and anything else you need. In this case, ring announced. So gave it everything we had. When the voice wasn't there to begin with, we made sure we emptied it on that night, to end the loop with the good people that we trained with from day one, and the next generation of students that we train with today. Very fun, incredible pro wrestling journey, and past couple weeks of learning and growing and getting experience.
Nice. All right.
And I gotta say, to round up, to have all you guys along the loop was pretty incredible too.
Yeah,
All
it
to
was
come
a
full
chance to
circle,
get
and to
to in the
catch
loop
each
with the
one of you guys,
homies.
catch each one of you guys along this loop was awesome, absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle
Yep. Y'all go back to where it started.
for the business of pro wrestling.
Yes. But you know what? Why don't we talk about storytelling in pro wrestling? I asked the crew, I gotta make sure I word this right because I know I worded it like 8 different ways in my head. What stories do you like to tell in the ring? And are there any that you would like to get better at? I will start. Because this weekend, we have done a lot of not straight tag matches lately. And we have had a chance to tell some very good stories, and one that we have had a chance to do a lot that I am enjoying more and more. Literally like 4 months ago, I used to hate this story, and it is the will they, won't they in tag team wrestling. Will these two forces work together? Will these two forces not work together when they're on their same team? We dipped our toes in that a little bit with Zawa last year, but just that was more of a long-term story that we told. And just with we would have preferred to tell it month after month after month, but just the way that the dates lined up, it was kind of spread out. So I feel it was effective, but not as effective as it could have been had we been able to be there month after month. But that was maybe the start of it, and it kind of left a disappointing taste in our mouth because the payoff for it happened at a new venue, new town. So it definitely played back better on video than live. When you have the whole story. But I think that led to what we've done this year, which is, it's been a lot of will they, won't they, whether that is somebody on our team in a 6-man tag like that dastardly bastard, Ezio Orlandi, or if it's on the other team, mainly B.A. Malkin. It seems to be our thorn in our side lately, tagging down in Southern Illinois. But yeah, I used to like very up until very recently never liked the will they won't they because I always felt it's kind of become very formulaic. And I think because I have taken my complaints about it and worked it into my wrestling to make it better, I've actually now come to enjoy that story a lot more. A story I wish I could get better at is telling the story of my own finish. I talked about it earlier, the match with Wato and Teton for the Best of Super Juniors finals. Very good finisher story. Yes, it had the multiple nights of Best of Super Juniors to build up, but then once you got into the match, all the falsies are very believable. Yeah, if you don't have, and I mean, actually, to their benefit, New Japan always does like winner of the last match does a promo, so you actually don't have an idea of if you just look on the time of when the match will end. So it was very easy to get sucked into, and that is definitely something that I wish we were better at telling that story. I mean, from tag finisher or to our my singles finish, but just the story of going after and getting that finish and finally having that finish go over, I think is something that I want to get better at. Why don't I just go down the line on my screen? Perch, some stories you'd like to tell, and maybe a story you'd like to get better at telling in the ring.
Yeah, I'd say stories I like to tell are to portray a good story of professional wrestling, a good feud, good versus evil, bad guy against good guy, and traditional professional wrestling. In my mind, 1989 era, like WCW, Ric Flair, Terry Funk, like good guy, bad guy, there's a line drawn in the middle. I really like those stories to tell, to really, convey the emotional roller coaster that's going on. Uh, and it just happens to be a professional wrestling match that it's being, held within. So start of a match, end of a match. I love those stories to tell. Good emotion. Maybe it's a feud that's been building for a few weeks. Weeks lead into months. Months lead into 6 months. These guys have been back and forth. They're 2 matches deep, 3 matches deep, and now this is the big time match where everything's leading to one, big finale. I love those kinds of stories to tell inside the ring because this is what it all comes down to at the end of the day is a wrestling match. Stone Cold and The Rock had some of the best promos in the world, but at the end of the day, it always came down to a wrestling match. So I love all the build up and as much long storytelling going into a match. Uh, that's my favorite story to tell. And then maybe a few pieces from that story get intertwined towards the end, whether it's someone coming in or getting tossed out or something coming back into place or a move coming back. Maybe it's a reversal or a counter. The importance at that moment of a match because it's been built up for weeks or for months. Maybe it was a hold that was barred and a no holds barred match a month before, but now it's legal. Yeah, those are definitely my favorites, and ones that I can always continue to get better. Every match is a different story, and every story is different. And there's so many different styles of pro wrestling. My goodness, lucha style is something that took a long time to even understand the basics of, and um, American style is all of its own, Japanese style all of its own. I just want to continue to get better at every style and know what works best on any given night. So the quest is to know everything in the way of every style around the world and be able to play to that audience on any given night. Because it's all about the audience in the house or viewing, but it's about the audience and how they'll take it on any given night. Because storytelling is different in America than it is in Japan. Their weeks are different. Their livelihood is different. So what's important to them isn't important to us, and vice versa. A lot of it's similar in the structure, but storytelling is a big key element that is so different. I was talking about horror movies to someone in Japan, and they mentioned they don't like American horror movies or don't get them because they don't understand the concept of like the triple six. Like they don't get it. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, you mean like The Exorcist? And they're like, nope. Like,
yeah. They
wow.
don't have
So
that.
like storytelling is
It's not part of their
different.
culture.
Yeah, and that was the best example that I could think of at the time of, whoa, is that nothing for you? Um, so yeah, storytelling and matches are different. So to really portray the best to the crowd on any given night is something I work hard at trying to do. And talk about that crowd at Green County. Those guys don't even know what pro wrestling is. Some of them, like Bax was saying, and it takes a little something extra to try and get them. So really studying that crowd and seeing what catches people's eyes, what's relatable, what's storytelling to them, and what's a good time to them at the end of the day. So yeah, I love it. The never ending quest.
It's funny that you brought up the 666 thing because I actually just watched like very interesting documentary on, I guess, the evolution. It's not the main point of it, but it goes, but it uses it to set up what its point is basically the evolution of religion in Japan. And explains like, yeah, why that specific like type of horror story won't work in Japan. They look at it
Mm-hmm.
historically, it has affected them differently than it has been a part of our culture. So, not to say that it's not a part of their culture, but it's just a part of it in a very different way that causes them to tell some stories very differently, or have certain stories told a lot more than we do. So it's very interesting. I just find that. Baxter, stories you like to tell, stories you wish you could be better at telling.
So, Perch said it all. It's all about storytelling. For me, I think that's what we all are into it for. I I'm admittedly a very average wrestler in the ring, and like that's okay for me. But like I put a lot of effort into like promos and my entrance and my gear because I want to tell the story of I'm this douchey bad guy that is against the good guys. So like
Yeah.
I really like telling that story. But it also depends on who I'm wrestling. For example, this last or yesterday, as we were in a smaller town, we're wrestling quite literally in a barn. I wanted to put the story of a big city guy coming into a small city and then wrestling a really athletic guy like CJ. I wanted to put over his athleticism. So um, not only was it the big city thing, but it was also the athleticism and the him beating me up to put down um, the big city guy. So
Big arrogant.
often it's that. Yeah, absolutely. Often it's that for me. The storytelling thing, and um, for something to work on, like honestly, I'm pretty self-aware.
Oh, oh, oh
My
no.
own credit.
Okay. We
What?
lost you for a second.
What?
We lost you for a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi is not connecting so good. Um, but what I was saying is, if I had to work on something, it's probably my own credibility. Like as a 6'4", 170-pound guy, I don't really look that intimidating, and I get that. So I still want to fill out and like appear more feared
Like a
than I
threat.
am, but like a threat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, as a consistent heel, it's cool to um like winning a title to me is credibility. Like, but I want to be more feared. Yeah, and
Personal
that's my
credibility.
absolutely, absolutely. My stature, I know I'm fucking lanky and awkward, but if I could fill out a little bit and gain 20 pounds of muscle, that'd be awesome. So I know I need to work on that.
Okay. Zach, stories you like to tell, stories you wish you were better at telling.
Stories I like to tell, preferably, as much as we get put in these random predicaments, 6-man tags, 10-man tags, fatal 4-way tags. I do love an old school babyface tag team heel match. I will always love the chemistry and the story we told at the Caribbeans. Being told, like, when we first started it, like, oh, not sure how it's gonna work, but being able to up the tag game every time with them and go from a regular tag match to a 30-minute Iron Man tag match and be able to tell just like we're two tag teams who are both equally good, who have good chemistry, and just figuring out who the better tag team is. Of course, they had the great equalizer of Armando Alvarez, and I think we had a nice little payoff when Val nailed him right in the button at Rise to Honor. Those type of stories I really enjoy, especially like, I mean, I guess like my favorite stories are anything that like you could talk to a fan about and they can date back to like the months you've done it later. What you're doing is right. I have some people bring up about the pink brush still, about the pink hairbrush, just because like it was me versus Salem Crane, and Salem Crane's like, yo, this is like never usually me good guy, you bad guy. Can you make sure you get booed? And I pulled out my pink brush and said, don't worry, bro, we'll get this brush over.
Yep.
Um, I don't know what stories I do like to tell. I feel like we do tell good stories. I just feel like I like the ones that I guess are most memorable by fans. And that's probably like the lamest answer ever.
I mean, that's
Um,
fine. The
yeah,
stories
and
you
I
That's
just
just
what
said
like
we're here
wasn't
for.
memorable. That's
yeah,
I
I just
mean
like
that
when
if I didn't remember it, it probably wasn't that good of a story.
like I forgot I forgot the fan's name, but after we won the belts at BCW shoot, they like remembered like I remember back when you guys just had the tag match out of respect. Or those interpersonal stories we have with each other against the Bang Bros, where we see them and they're always like, "We need that number three, we need that number three," and just being able to have like a just a good tag chemistry, good tag matches. I guess things I would like to work on um is making people remember more. I feel like there's some promotions where we're in the position of like, hey, like this match is here to light up the crowd and all that, and like you have like it's a compliment when you go in the run sheet says country air versus whoever notes are fun match, crazy shit, gonna have the crowd on their feet, and that's always going a super big compliment. But like I want to like put more depth into that, like figure out ways to make a story even if there's not a story there. If that makes sense.
Fair. Nice. Good. Good. No, no. Very interesting answers. And maybe I should shoot you all this video because I feel like this also maybe has something to do with why y'all all like kind of the same stories. They're just good versus evil. Very interesting. Very interesting. But awesome. Hey, are we going to wrestle this weekend? Why don't we talk about that? Baxter, you got any plans this weekend?
Honestly, I do not. I'm probably gonna roll up at ICW just to hang out, set up, chill. If something happens, great. But if not, I'll just enjoy the show. But I got a little time off, to be honest.
Go
Nice.
take the baby to see the Barbie movie. Just kidding.
She ain't ready for movies, but
All right. Perch, what you got this weekend?
Yeah, this Friday night, July 28th, Freelance Wrestling is coming to the Avondale Music Hall in Chicago. That new venue. Really looking forward to it. That's going to be a good time. A lot of good action, good matchups. Nicole Radrick against Alec Price. Lots of good people in the house for this one. Story brewing. Trevor Outlaw being an ultimate heel. Don't know what's going to happen this time around.
Got hit
It's
with that
been
shin
a
shoryuken this time.
lot of shenanigans. Talk about learning from the fair shows. My goodness. We learn everything that we can. And and use it. And it's all about listening to that crowd. And yeah, in that case, listening to the crowd, seeing where it goes. Last time we hit him with the and Bax hit it too throughout the week. The old Sonata finger behind the ear. Yep, I saw Bax hit
I know
that
you
up.
noticed that.
Yep, that's our world champion right there over in Japan. Sonata, the man, legend, and he's representing. And yeah, oh yeah, as long as he's up, we're rocking that. Just like people would rock the old Hulk Hogan back in the day.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, I love it. I love it. Yep,
Yeah, it's the
exactly,
same thing. It's the same thing.
exactly. So out of just pure lean into your instincts, this has been coming out lately. We'll see if it gets people going. um, yeah, gonna be a fun time.
And Zach, what do we have?
This weekend we are going to be Friday, taking on our little brothers TAU. We've been putting them over all podcasts, but we're not going to be putting them over Friday.
Nope. Nope. Believe this is a number one contender match for the ICW tag titles. We are on the quest to 4, bro.
We're on the quest to 4, and Insane 8 is right around the corner. It's the biggest show of the year. And every year we're not in the one of the biggest tag matches of the year, and that's a little upsetting, a little annoying. What first time we were at the Insane 8, we had the story where Doc got his gear stolen.
Yep.
We came out in the basketball shorts, and we took on Luxurious Ones and Killer Instinct. We had a match against the Golden Bullies one year. I'm in the very hot parking lot of the Elks, and I'm expecting it to be hot again August 20th, but that don't matter. Only thing that matters is that we are on the quest for title number 4 and on the quest of breaking our own record.
Yes, sir. So yeah,
That's on August 20th.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I'll be around.
All right, come on out, show support. It's like
Yeah.
TAU already has Perch on their side, so like might as well come join your mama's favorites. Awesome. Why don't we take it home? Zach, any final thoughts or questions?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone heard, but who would have thought Dominic Mysterio setting records and making history, main eventing all 3 shows in 1 week?
Yeah.
Like dirty,
No,
dirty
he's
Dom out here.
admittedly, you gotta admit, Dom is in his bag right now. He is a very good heel. And he's gaining the heat that deserves to be in the main event of all shows.
I mean, as much as I love Wesley, I did think it was the right. Dom was the right guy to take the belt off him, get him that heat. He is very lovable, and just what Dominic Mysterio is doing. He proved that he just needed to get out of his dad's shadow and do his own thing, and he's out here thriving right now, and he's getting talked about.
Yeah, he's doing very good. Bax, final thoughts or questions?
Final thoughts, just a few things I wrote down real quick. Great job, Jack, debuting as a ref this weekend. He just gets it. He did everything right. He played the role. It was really good job. So good job, Jack, if you're listening. Second of all, saw Perch's dad on the way out of the Royal, and I didn't know he was going to be in there. I
Big
I
Bax
hugged him.
fan too since day one. He's always
Oh,
been.
I know, and that's why I was so excited. I hugged him instantly.
That's great. Yep, Pops even caught on the Summer Sizzler tour for the day. He rode his bike
Yeah.
out there.
Super great to see him. Such a great surprise. And then my last one was because we mentioned Armando Alvarez a few times. He was trolled a little bit this weekend, and his music was changed to "Tiptoe by the Window" by Tiny Tim. And I was behind the curtain when it started, and I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Damn it!" And
He knew right away.
he knew right away. But this dude didn't miss a beat. He was all Armando the whole time, even though that music played, and it was so funny.
Good.
Oh, it was so good.
That was great.
It was so good. So
They had me do the announcement before and give the full from here
Yep.
is.
And that was on purpose, right?
On purpose. That was the one that was a little bit different on purpose. Ross is like, "Hey, Perch, on this one, do this." Okay, great.
So funny to see how mad he was. He was just
Had no
triggered.
idea. And
But that's all
and
I got.
Tyler was the other one where
Oh yeah.
they had told me to announce that he was from Louisville, Kentucky. So I did. And it was a straight up I forgot what song it was, but
Just a country
it was
country
it
song.
was banjo plucking, washboard going. It was straight up, and he owned it. He owned it.
He owned it.
Coming
Oh,
up.
he didn't miss a beat either.
Oh, that's the best. So much fun.
I was saying, like, I
And
feel like a good, depending on the country song, I'd feel like that also would fit Tyler's vibe if he didn't miss a beat.
he made it
Yeah,
work.
as bad as Armando's was, this one was just as bad. Tough to work with, but both
That was
guys
good.
knew it. These were some level 8 extreme.
Some hurdles
And
to
Tyler
overcome,
too.
but they met the challenge. Okay.
Tyler too behind the curtain was like, damn it. Okay, here we go.
Oh, it's too funny. Because at the end of the day, it makes no difference. If you get a little spark out of the crowd for something, great. Run with it. You're welcome.
They fucking loved it. Yeah.
It's so funny. But yeah, it's great to see everybody along the journey. People that we met from day one, to continue to work hard and pursue our dreams and make ourselves a foundation for pro wrestling. It's awesome to have a family to come back to for pro wrestling and like-minded individuals where we can share ideas with one another and try new stuff out and see what works and give fans a good time.
Very nice. Very nice. Perch, final thoughts or questions?
Yeah, just continue to watch pro wrestling from all over the world, getting inspired. If there's any negativity in pro wrestling and people talking about it, uh, take a 90-degree turn onto another promotion and be like, whoa, this is so different. There's
Yep.
nothing that I don't like about this, or it's something I do, or whatever. There's so much good stuff out there. Enjoy what you like and be inspired to find new stuff just as well.
Very much so. Definitely. And for me, take care of yourself mentally and physically. It's hard out here. Struggle for everybody, especially us wrestlers. My butt is bruised from this past weekend. So I will be spending today and tomorrow icing it. So that I am ready for this weekend. And I won't be at camp because I'm gonna need the mental break for the week that will be of wrestling. So take care of yourself when you can. It is very important. We all love wrestling and we want to continue to do it for as long as we can. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all the social medias. Tell promotions to book us because winter is coming and wrestling starts dying down and we'll need dates. Let us know down below. What stories do you like to see in the ring? Which stories do you wish were told more often? This has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be easy. One.